And we're live.
Awesome.
I need to be paying attention. Let me.
Conversations with halos is kind of tilted. The foundation is strong because Jehovah built it. You can feel the spirit and positive energy. Questions asked comfortably like you're talking with family. Get ready to settle in. Wait for the show to begin. Invite a couple of friends. It's time for Unhinged.
Introduce to you Get You Home Towing, a family company with the sole purpose to get you home. Whether you need roadside assistance or transport services, we have a flatbed big enough to transport any vehicle to its destination. Our offer to you is our gratitude and great service at a much cheaper price. We are also open to transport through long distances. If you need us, all you have to do is call that number. I'll see you soon.
Oh, wow. Are we live, Karen?
We are live.
Oh, okay. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? Y'all all right? I mean, what's really going on? Thank you so much for tuning in. You've tuned into Unhinged Live. I'm your host, Nikita Tilted Halo Hansford, and I'm sitting alongside my very good girlfriend, Karen Sims Harrell of Twisted Threads, LLC. I want to go ahead and take this opportunity to say thank you for joining us. And while I'm thanking those of you who are joining us live on this evening, I want to go ahead and say, hey, hola, how you doing? To all of our replay viewers that are going to catch the show at a later date. Listen, we've been away for a little while, relaxing, relating, and releasing, and we are so excited to come back on this evening with an amazing conversation with tonight's guest. Of course, I want to go ahead and familiarize you all with what's going to happen on tonight's show. Of course, we're going to get into your weekly fan shout out. We'll have a conversation with our guest. And I don't know, I'm feeling a little petty. I don't know if I want to talk about what's really going on. But in any event, we're going to end tonight's show with another. I know y'all hungry in y'all spirituality-ness. Listen, we're going to end the show with a reflection of purpose from our very own in-house certified master life coach, Coach Cash, Karen Sims Harrell of Twisted Threads LLC. And of course, on that outro, I'm simply going to remind you all to just be. So let me take it back to the top of the show and say, hey, Karen, I know we talk, but I got to find out, how are you doing after surviving your version of Snowpocalypse 2026?
Okay. I am surviving. Number one. Number two, y'all know snow done made its way down. Come get your children and get the snow back up out of here, because anybody got time for this. So I have been in the house. I think today was my first day venturing for like the last 5 days. Not because I'm afraid of the snow, right? Most people would be like, oh, you don't like the snow because you're afraid of it. I'm not afraid of the snow. I'm afraid of all of the rest of the folks that don't know what to do when the snow get on the ground. Like, y'all lose your mind down here, down south, y'all don't know what to do when the snow hit it's actually precipitation of any kind, but specifically the snow. We done had multi-car pileups just because people was on the road when they didn't need to be, or they wanted to run to the store to get one good thing. I did all my ripping and running on Thursday and then literally stayed in the house until today. But the sun is shining. We are melting and getting out of our snowmageddon. So one fun fact, my sister is also here down south. My twin sister, Woolmate, Kimberly, shout out. She lives 1 hour away from me. I think she got 2 inches of snow. So she one of them. We got about 8 to 10 inches of snow where I am, and I promise you, I got to call a HOA. That's all we gonna say on that. Like, who job is it to shovel? Contract somebody. I don't care. Get some of these children out here. We'll talk about that too, because I didn't really see a lot of kids shoveling. I don't know if that's no longer a thing, because back in the day, we did it. My children always got excited for snow and a snow day because they knew that was going to make them 100 air. They was going out there and making some dollars, but I didn't see chick nor child in sight to come shovel snow. So I'm just wondering about this new generation of children. Or is it the parents? I'm not sure. I'm not blaming anybody, Tilted. I just cram to understand. I want to understand a little bit better about who is the next generation of snow blowing, money making hustlers that needed to be out here in these 8 inches of snow. So, as always, I'm grateful that we made it. Nobody's, me and the husband didn't kill each other, nor did Raymond and I. Everybody is still safe and sound. But I got to throw it back at you because y'all also had a version of this. So I got to ask the question, how you doing?
Girl, I feel like I'm in a whole black version of Frozen over here. You hear me? There are so many snow piles. I'm starting to refer to them simply as igloos. We could legitimately solve the homelessness problem. Excuse me, the problem with unhoused people in Warren County if every family on the block with the mountain of snow in front of their house because they had no place to carve out that little hole.
Yes.
And maybe some blankets, some canned goods that you could pop open. Somebody could really find shelter in some of these snow piles running through the Lehigh Valley. And it's been interesting because this is the first year in a long time I've heard about parking chair wars in the snow around these parks. Girl, I have seen glimpses of Silk City, USA. Shout out to Patterson, New Jersey. Where you could find a whole baby carriage in your parking spot, just so nobody takes it after you've done the hard work of shoveling. Baby, I've seen some new things out here. There's a lot of hunters. And I have seen elk ears. Listen, I could go on and on. Listen. People, try and keep it official. They got orange cones. But yeah, I'm not doing too well with the mountains of ice. I'm always scared that, I'm gonna have a Titanic moment with Luna, my car, and just scratch up. Yeah, scratch up trying to park somewhere. So I'm grateful though. I'm grateful
right.
that, I haven't suffered any calamity. I'm grateful that even in these close to zero temperatures, my car still starts first thing in the morning. I've talked to some people who, had to get a jump because it's been so cold, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful that the heat works in my car and the defrost works in my car.
Yes,
I'm grateful for my car because I wasn't involved in no pile up. I even heard today that, someone lost their windshield due to a sheet of ice sliding off one of those 18-wheelers. Yo, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to feel the cold, even though I'm making light of it. And, we could really solve the unhoused people problem by making some igloos since they refuse to move these ice blocks from my block.
I love it.
Yeah, making it through winter. So listen, I see we got a couple people joining us in the chat. What's up, Miss Shelby? How you doing, Queen? It's good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. Listen. All right. We've talked a little bit.
Yes.
And it's cold. We can't leave tonight's guest outside because, again, it's cold and she's of the chocolate melanated persuasion. We don't need our good sis to get ashy out there.
Right.
So I want to go ahead and get into tonight's super fan shout out. Karen.
Yes.
Drum roll, please.
Yes, we're gonna see which one of these we doing. Every season we come up with something.
Girl. There's that hi-hat that we love so much. Listen, you get a pass tonight because I promise you, StreamYard changed the whole interface while we were on hiatus. I had to figure some things out. Yeah, so pass for you, pass for Keita. So yes, lend me your ear, lend me your ear. Tonight's super fan shout out. Listen, I've been a lot of places in my space and time, and tonight's super fan shout out is a sister that I hold near and dear to my heart. Much like you and myself, Karen, she is a founding member of the Sister Friend Prayer Circle. And she too is a songbird extraordinaire. Yes, I'm actually talking about our sister friend Veronica Cummings on tonight. Yes, tonight's superfan shout out goes to our sister Veronica Cummings. I was recently placed back in her circumference because I attended a rehearsal for the upcoming production of the family reunion getting ready to happen at the Allentown Civic Theater. And when we made the initial connection on last week, listen, Veronica reminded me of something I poured into her years ago, and to see the places she has been to this date, my goodness, I am absolutely such a fan, Veronica. You are an amazing mother. You're an amazing wife. You are an amazing songbird. It is my absolute delight to make my return to the stage here in the Lehigh Valley, serving under your direction alongside our good sis Juanita Renee. Listen, Veronica, everything.
You know, I gotta put a clap it up there.
We got to clap it up because we've been together a long time, haven't we? Listen, Veronica, it is my great joy to see some of those words that the Lord allowed me to water you with come to manifestation, and I see you thriving in your gift. You're singing, you're directing, you're producing. And I must tell you, one of your most favorite roles that I got to see you in was when you played the crab in Little Mermaid. You did that, sister girl. I am so proud of you. You are our super fan shout out. You are an example to so many young wives, so many young creatives, to remind them that they can do it too. So I just want to say thank you. And I pray that God continues to strengthen your body and keep your body whole and healed as you continue to thrive in your purpose. You were created to create, and it is my great pleasure to be in your presence again, as we move forward in this space and time. Let's see what God does next. Do you want to add anything to that, Karen?
Listen, been a fan a long time, and I'm just happy that you two get to be in the room with some other amazing personalities. I say personalities on purpose because each of you can hold your own all by yourselves. But with you getting in the room with Veronica, two things I know for sure. There's going to be a fun time. There will be love in the room. Okay, and the third, and notes will be tight. Okay. Those are the three things that I know about all of the things that you all are putting your hands to. But shout out to you, V. Just love you and your family. I got a chance to shout it out with your husband the last time I was in town as well. But to see how your beautiful family has grown and how you just have not skipped a beat, being all that God has called you to be. So I'm just a super excited big sister to be able to see. Sometimes we get to just sit back and watch God work. How about that? Like those are some of those moments, and I'm amazed at what you have said yes to and what God has done with your yes. So keep on going, sis. We rooting, we the loud ones in the top of the bleacher seats all the way. Keep going.
Always.
We always at the top. We always are rooting for you, sister. Love that.
All right. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about tonight's guest, Karen. We love getting the scoop here at Unhinged Live, and I promise you, I think we might actually be her first podcast appearance during this season in her life. I am so privileged to introduce you all to tonight's guest, Queen GraceAnn Butler. There are so many things that I could say about this woman of God. Yes, I call her a woman of God because it is not happenstance that her name is Grace. Not only is she an amazing woman, period, she will absolutely slay and burn down any runway you put her on. My sister is fierce. And she's managed to answer a call to the still small voice she heard, and she found a solution to a problem that so many people need a solution to. So before I go on and tell all her business, let us go ahead and bring tonight's guest in the room. We're gonna let her tell her business herself. Come on in the room, Grace. Come on in the room.
Welcome.
Thank you. I am so honored. I'm so honored and privileged to be in the company of these two women. Thank you very much.
Awesome. So, GraceAnn, we know a little bit, okay? But we usually want to get into a little bit of your origin story so that you could share as much as you decide to share with our audience, as we dig into this conversation, a little bit about how it started, where are you from, what's your background, so that people can kind of connect and say, am I in that amen corner? But before we dig into all of the current business ventures, if you could just tell us a little bit where you're from, how things going, a little bit about you, family structure, those things.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Nikita. I appreciate the time. I am born in Jamaica, grew up in New York, finished high school in New York, and moved to Pennsylvania after my kids were born. So that's over 22 years ago. And from there, I started working with children, and I never stopped. So I realized during that process that serving children, therefore serving families, is where my heart is. If we have strong families, we have strong children. We have children who can navigate most of what life brings them if we have strong families. So my heart has been loving on, disciplining, taking care of, encouraging, supporting children, so that they can grow up and be citizens that we would want our kids to be around.
Awesome.
So when we left New York, it was on my heart to be where my children were when they came to Pennsylvania. And so I left pharmacy, went into education, and eventually got my degree in elementary ed. And I have not left elementary ed since. So before the pandemic, I was a substitute teacher. I did not get certified because I was torn between what was happening to children in different school districts. And my attitude and my mouth probably would get me in trouble if I became a full-fledged teacher. So I just decided to be a substitute, so that I would not get into politics of why some school districts have certain things and some do not. And so I enjoyed being a sub because I get to deal with different types of children, different levels of education, different economic structure, different family types. So I dealt with all kind of children, all kind of age group, and I fully enjoyed it. After the pandemic, I went to be a nanny. And that I enjoyed because it was with little people, 2 years and under. And that was fun because I had to be on my toes at all time. And we talked, we did all kind of fun that young kids enjoy. And then the end of October is when I went back to substitute teaching. And this is with the middle school. And I think that's definitely where my heart is, because these young people think they know everything. So we would have conversations about, no, you don't. you really don't. So we will talk, and we will go back and forth in the classroom, and they would try to tell me, and then we would have conversations. So I fully enjoy substitute teaching the age group that I'm at now. Well, the Holy Spirit spoke to me last year about what I'm doing now, what my heart decided to do, what my heart wanted to do. And I was putting it off for a while. I kept saying, I'm not ready. This is not the right time. I don't know if I can do it. I'm probably too old to be switching to anything. But then I listened and I followed, and I understood what the Holy Spirit was telling me to do, because it is serving children, it is serving families. And so I started my business called Your Wedding Nanny Care, that takes care of children who are at weddings, who are part of the wedding party, who are at just being at the wedding itself. And so that's where I am right now. And I skipped the part for my children. I have two children, Blake and Morgan. Blake is 23. He's living with us. Morgan is 22, and she's completing her last year of college at Temple, and she's doing that last semester in Japan. So right now she is getting ready to get up in the morning. It's 9:30 in the morning in Japan. So she's getting ready to go to class. She says she has an early class at 10 o'clock. So she should be up and getting ready. And I've been married to my honey bun for 25 years and a half, 25 years.
Beautiful, beautiful. So
that's
many
me.
areas of wisdom. Just with the bit that you shared, I'm chuckling over here when you're like, yeah, I can't be in the classroom 100% because I'm just gonna be the entire problem. So I definitely appreciate that. Love, you know, we don't often, and I'm gonna say for me, maybe because I know Tilted, you've been in the family service area, but there's something different about the way you present what you do as a service to families, right? A lot of times we have people, well, I work with children. Do you? Because usually they will work your nerves. But what is your passion behind that? And I gotta say, just in that one line, it just kind of brought up the fact that serving families is different. It is a
Yeah.
different call than working with family, and I imagine a different experience. What's kind of influenced your well, I kind of know, but if you could share with our audience, what's that in your heart that says like this is service to these families, to these children that are not all my own, but I'm taking on that responsibility.
I have seen, even walking on the street, well, back in New York, when I take the train, I'm looking in people's faces. I am just looking at their faces and deciding, wow, maybe they're getting ready to go to work and today was not a good day because that face looks really sad. Or they're listening to their music on their headphones and, ooh, that's a good music. I bet you that's a nice music. Maybe I should listen to that music. That sounds good. So I'm reading, I read people's faces. And then where children are concerned, I look past their face and I feel like I'm into their heart and thinking, how are you? How is mom? Is mom okay? How are you at home? How is their dad? How is dad at home? And I feel like I am in their circle, and if I is what it is that I can do to make them smile, because a lot of our children are just sad in their face. They're they are not smiling, they're not laughing like their other friends are. And I just feel like if I can have a conversation that would change a perception. Like 2 days ago, one of my students said, he was talking to his friend, and I heard the conversation. he went to the back of the room to talk to one of his friends, and he came back to his seat, which is in the front of the class, and he said, I don't believe this. He gets $100 every 2 weeks for himself, and I can barely scratch $5 for a year. And that's, for him, that's really a deep feeling. This friend of his gets $100 every 2 weeks. And for him, that's crazy because he can barely find $5 for the whole year. So in my heart, I'm thinking he's comparing, but you don't know what's happening in that house. You don't understand that. You may not understand what's happening in that house. So he's getting $100, but don't compare yourself because you never know what's happening. Your walk is going to be different from his. Your life choices, your understanding of what life is going to be different from his. So don't compare yourself. I fully understand what you're saying, but you can't, because you're going to drive yourself crazy. You're going to make yourself miserable. I don't know if he got it because he was only 15 years old. He probably didn't get it, but I when they say certain things, somehow I feel it, and I try to say words to them that will help them understand that understanding where you are is where you should be. Don't try to be elsewhere and try to take on other people's things. So I think I want to serve children, serve families in a way that will interrupt their consciousness of themselves. They're capable, they're strong, they're able to do the work, they're able to understand when an adult gives them a direction. They don't want to do it, but that's how it is. If an adult give you a direction, if adult says, please do this, I don't understand why I'm hearing your mouth about you don't want to do it. So helping them to understand that the world, the life does not revolve around you. You have to figure out what I'm saying to you and follow my instructions with as little talkback as possible. And helping them to understand the world is going to be as it is. So they have to try and fit in to what life is saying to them, but have their own identity and not talk themselves out of what they're supposed to be. Because it's rough for a lot of our kids. It's very rough just by looking at them, sneaking a peek in their conversations. It's very rough for a lot of them. So, it's heartbreaking to hear some of these conversations, and enlightening also to hear other conversations. So I gravitate between minding my business, but also encouraging as much as I can.
Now, Grace, you've been in the field of education for quite some time. And, you brought us to this conversation about the children needing to be mindful of how they respond to authority figures. In your years of experience, was there any particular point in time where you noticed that the children became more challenging towards authority in the classroom or educational setting?
I think it started after the pandemic, when everything shifted and they had to figure out themselves during the pandemic, be disciplined enough to do what was required of them during the pandemic, and parents having them at home all day, every day, and the friction that developed during that time of the pandemic. And then coming out of it, some of our kids did not recover from the pandemic. Some of them are still feeling the effects of all the changes that they went through during the pandemic. So I think that played a lot into how they respond to authority, how to respond to responsibility that are required of them, how to respond to their ability to do what is required of them. So it changed. I think it changed during that time. I would think that maybe a generation before that their parents may not have been able to walk them through what they were going through, because maybe the parents didn't even understand what the kids were going through, just that they had to be online to do work, but they were missing so much social skills, authority, directions. They were missing so much during that time. So I think during the pandemic played a major role in how our children are acting now, how they are responding to life now.
It's interesting that you tied that into how they're responding to life now. And you're currently in the classroom daily with these children in this current political climate. Have you heard any of them express how they're feeling about what's going on around them?
They have not. I have not heard anything that would cause me to have a conversation with them. One of our youngsters said to one of his friends, if you don't stop something they were talking about, and if you don't stop doing it, I'm going to get you deported. And I had to pull him to the side in a hurry and say, do you understand what you just said? Yeah. Do you realize what you just said? In this climate, you cannot play with those words, because for some people it's a very sensitive word. You cannot play. And he looked at me and he said, Mrs. Butler, I'm so sorry. I was just playing. I understand you were playing, but you can't. You got to let it come to your head, but not out your mouth. Certain things you have to hold on to it, because it's sensitive for a lot of people. So you have to be careful. So they have not been speaking about it. That it's not. I don't know if it reaches them yet in the Lehigh Valley. I'm not sure if their parents have been affected by it in the Lehigh Valley, but I haven't heard anything yet.
Yeah. There's been a lot going on, and I've spent a lot of time, many years in education myself. So I always try to keep my ear on the pulse of what's going on in the future generation. So yeah, thank you so much for, speaking to that question. Now, as you started your nanny business, were there any particular procedural things you needed to complete in order to go ahead and get established? Of course, we already know you safe to work with the kids because you're in the classroom with the babies every single day. But was there any particular curriculum that you needed to complete before you could go say, hey, I'm the LLC nanny?
I had my clearances because I work in the school district. So I did not need to have my clearances. I'm CPR certified. I have my my master's in elementary ed. So I didn't need much to get started. I just had to make sure that whatever license I needed, which I did not need a license actually, just to get the LLC completed, done, taken care of. So no, I didn't really need any particular training to get started, because I was a nanny. I'm still in the field of education, still in the field of taking care of children, hanging out with children, loving on children, giving them hugs, high fives, fist bumps. And that was pretty much what I needed. I didn't really need a lot of paperwork that said I'm a wedding nanny.
All right, cool.
So I love that. That reminds me, that whole stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's what I heard. I heard you was ready the whole time. So that's one of my favorite lines over here. So you don't have to get ready. But what was the thing for you, GraceAnn, that said, and now is the time? Because I imagine you've probably gone to weddings, you've probably been in the presence of children, like, ooh, if I could just spend an hour, or I know I could help them out. What was the if there was an event or something that happened that said, okay, and now is the time we're going to push this forward?
I went to a wedding in the summer, late summer. And she was a friend of mine. She had two little ones, 6 and 7, who she wanted to be a part of the wedding. But she did not have someone to take care of them. Even so she had, even though she had her bridesmaids, she had a maid of honor, she did not have someone in particular to guide them to where she wanted them to be at a certain time of the ceremony. And even though she was standing, she looked gorgeous, she looked beautiful, she looked happy. I could see in her face that she's a little stressed because these little ones are taking way too long to walk down this aisle. Like I told them, we practiced this like 600 times. And I could tell that she was a little stressed, and her face was saying, "Come on, come on," and they took that little time to walk that. So it occurred to me at that time, and there were previous times when I went to weddings and children were involved and who were part of the wedding party. They want their children to be a part of it, but there's the attention span of little people. You know, you can't tell them to let's go and expect them to move right away. So it's been something that I've thought about for a while, since being a part of a couple of weddings or attending a couple of weddings, and seeing the stress that it will cause the moms, especially the bride, who wants their little ones to be part of it, but because there's so much involved for the little one to walk, and if the wedding planner is not available to help, or there's somebody who is not designated to help them, then mom is really stressed. And then even after the ceremony, going into the reception or the cocktail hour, if mom or an adult who is already dancing, already enjoying themselves, they have to leave what they're doing in order to take care of what's happening with the little people. So that's kind of where it was birthed. And that's why I started it. That's awesome. Where it is now for me.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yes.
To the question from you, I don't want to hug all the time.
No, we shared. I'm just here. I just want to know how far you're willing to travel, Miss GraceAnn.
Oh, I'm traveling wherever there is a bill that's paid. I'm traveling. If you're willing, I wherever it is, I am going. I am there.
I love that.
All right, y'all heard that.
I gave myself a radius. I'm sorry. I gave myself a radius of 50 miles. But wherever the bride needs me, I'm there.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned some of the things, and I was mentioning pre-show that this is top of mind because what are we, about 2.5 years into marriage, and I promise you, okay, nobody broke anything. Let me just say that. But the whole time we had 10 grandkids, it was just like, don't break anything. Where are the parents? Don't break anything, right? They're on the dance floor. I'm like, this is wonderful. Y'all are having a good time. But where are the children? Don't break anything. Okay. So, when I saw the announcement, I got to say it was sort of like a personal, like, Lord, yes, somebody come get these kids. Can you talk to folks? Because, of course, I think the concept of a wedding nanny it sounds like something that people might be able to connect to. But talk about some of the services that you provide as part of your services that people could kind of connect and say, right? It might be ceremony, it might be reception, but I don't want to fill in the blanks. I just know, like you said about that attention span, I'm just going to say, I think at the time Tucker was our youngest, and while the folks, the men, so the groomsmen and the bridal party was walking down the aisle, Tucker was in the middle of the aisle, like, what y'all doing? That's all we're gonna say on that. Keita, you might have walked right past Tucker while he was trying to stay in the way versus, Lord, where's the nanny? So that he knows where he needs to be. But talk a little bit about your services that so folks can kind of connect.
I offer based on age, based on package. Based on age, based on the number of children. There are different packages of service. If it's a 2-hour wedding versus a 4-hour wedding or a 6-hour wedding. All the activities that I have for them is based on their age group. Some families may not want anything too extravagant, so they just want them to rest, eat something, watch TV, and rest. Perfectly fine. If they want something added and to keep them busy, to keep them entertained, just like everybody else is being entertained, so why not have the babies entertained? I have that plan based on age group, so nobody's left out. Everybody would have something to do, and I serve children, infancy all the way up to elementary school. So every age group would have something that would keep them entertained, have them going, or they just do nothing if they choose to do nothing at all.
Love that. Love that.
Now, are you doing your nanny services with a team that you could bring in with you from time to time, or are you standalone in your services?
I am standalone now, and as I grow, I have a team that I can call on, who can come and support. But right now, it's just me who is getting it ready, getting it started. Yes.
Well, I happen to believe that you are more than enough, but I'm a little partial. I'm a fan.
Thank you.
So listen, speaking of me being a fan, I got to turn the conversation, all right, to the fact that, as I mentioned during your intro, you are a fabulous runway model as well. So while you're offering your nanny services at the different wedding events, the person who choose to hire you for your service, they got to know you're going to look fabulous, darling, while you're looking after their little ones. I'm curious to know how long you've actually been a model, because you are runway royalty. You've been officially crowned here in the Lehigh Valley. How long have you been a model?
I started modeling before my kids were born, so about 22 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny way how it started, it's just crazy.
Please share.
So I am an introvert, full introvert, but I decided I needed a way to get myself that. So during college, I told I had to figure out a way how to not be an introvert. I could not look people dead in the eye. I could not have a full conversation without looking around on the floor and places around. So I searched online for fashion designers that were in New York who was doing his thing. And I called this gentleman, his name was Fashion, in Lower Manhattan. And I asked him, "Do you need a model?" I never did a show. I never did anything on runway before. And he said, of course, absolutely. Come to my practice, my rehearsal on a Friday night, he said, and let's see where it goes from there. And that's when it started. I started walking a runway just to get myself out of being shy. And it started then. And I love it ever since. That's my favorite thing to do. And then the kids will come next.
I love that. So for those of you who've never seen GraceAnn, literally Grace the Runway, so name says it all. It's more than beauty and brains, right? You command the runway. Like, so I'm chuckling over here as you're like, well, this is my way to kind of get out there because, you know, I'm an introvert. That goes away. I have watched you walk a runway and it is such a presence that you have. It's like, oh, literally that's the response. Like mouth shut, like, oh, okay, giving it to the people, no matter what you were wearing. Like, so I'm always in awe of when folks kind of tell their story. But I promise you, 22 years later, plus you are a force on the runway and definitely command. You are very loud. That's all I'm gonna say for that. And you make the rest of us quiet when you are walking that runway. So super excited about that part, right? And to keep hold of those things that we are passionate about because, you know, we're wives, we're mothers, we're sisters, we're friends, we are community members, and all of that, right, takes up so much time with outward things. It's so wonderful to hear us as women say, and this one is mine, this one is for me. How do you keep the timing, or I would say the time management for knowing when to say yes to those things that you're passionate about?
I speak to my husband first. Do we have plans for next Tuesday? Do we have plans for next Saturday? If he has plans, then I'm going to have to rearrange that schedule. But usually I consult with him first, and everything else will just kind of fall into place. I usually make a big dinner on Sunday, so I'm not cooking anything for anybody until about Wednesday. So y'all have food to eat. And then I make sure my husband is set, and then I will put things into baskets when I can.
Love that.
So it's not, and the kids are older now, so I really don't have to too much pay attention to them. Yeah.
That's amazing. And another time we'll have to talk about your daughter's experience in Japan, because I can imagine how exciting that is, for her to be finishing her education over there, but all of the lessons that kind of culminate all together. I really want to know the mommy moments. You know, mommy said I would. So love that.
She has taken most of that travel bug from me. I will go anywhere at any time. Her dad, on the other hand, was saying that he needs to pack a suitcase so that he can chaperone. So it's from me that most of that travel bug comes from.
I love it. Well, I know that's his baby girl, so that's a different conversation than, you know, especially for us as moms. And if you are a traveler, I'm sure it's like, go see the world before any, you know, true responsibility comes, and you know, then you have to fit those things
that's
in.
Right.
But I imagine, you know, the dads are like, send me your location. How about that? Fun.
He actually did tell her to send her location.
I love
That's
that.
right.
I love it. I love it. Well, I wanted to share just a little bit, right? So
I already
we
have
have
location. I know where she is wherever she goes. I know.
awesome, good stuff. I love that you continue to keep the family at the
Got my
forefront of
IG.
all of the things that you're doing. And as always, we try to do our best so that folks know how they can connect with you. What are the things that if folks have questions that they can reach out to you and be able just to make sure that we are supporting you in your ventures, supporting you in the things that you're doing, but also connecting with our audience, because we know, one, that your services are out here, that your personality and even your family background is just bringing some amazing things to the community. So super excited about that. Tilted, before we transition,
Thank you.
in any questions?
No.
For
I'm
you,
pretty good.
Yeah, good. So now, GraceAnn,
Pretty
what's the
good.
best way for people to get in contact with you or to connect with you and your services? Or if they might have a runway that they want you to burn up. Okay, I'll put that out there too.
I can do that. I can do that. No problem. Your wedding nanny care at Gmail, your wedding nanny.care@gmail.com is my email. At for a nanny, for a wedding nanny, for a wedding nanny is my Instagram handle. And the phone number 610-290-5029.
Awesome.
That's right, y'all. Clock it, because this wedding season is upon us, and you never know who might be seeking out your services. So thank you so much, Grace, for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Are you gonna be hanging out with us for the rest of the show?
I am.
Oh,
awesome.
I am.
All right. So Karen,
And big ups to Miss Veronica. Big ups to Miss Veronica, super fan. Love that girl too.
Isn't
she precious?
Love her. Professional and smart and talented. Love her.
And we'll also occasionally slay a runway while she's singing.
Oh yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Woo! Whatever. That's our sister. That's our sister. So Karen, I don't know. Don't know if I should go merrily down the stream.
We could listen. What do we say? One thing doesn't change. It's our show.
Well, I do my best not to be too much of a rabble rouser around these parts, but I got a feeling we got to get into a little bit of what's really going on.
Hey.
What's really going on?
What's really going on?
What's really going on?
What's really going on? On and on and on and on and on. On and on and on.
On and on and on. Listen. I had to put that out there, that I do my best not to be too much of a rabble rouser, but we have reached a point in time, especially here in this country, where we actually have to do something. Does that make any sense? Yes, I'm sure. I haven't been one of those people who've kept myself glued to the television or any particular form of social media to really keep up with the play-by-play, every last one of them, with everything going on in the political stratosphere here in the country. Queen GraceAnn made mention of a comment one of the students made to another one of their classmates that could have struck a particular chord to spark anxiety or some other form of mental unwellness to take place in this child. I want to get into a conversation about the importance and the power of our words. You know, many of us grew up under the teaching that sticks and stones might break my bones, but words can never hurt me. Now we're here, standing in the year 2026, and it seems as if we've got to become more mindful than ever before, because it's like every other word we say can hurt someone. I even made the faux pas earlier in the conversation with my certain level of professional training. I know better than to use the word homeless at this time. The vernacular has changed to unhoused, to be a bit more respectful to people in their particular station in life. But for the grace of God, there go I, me, you, and you. So I want to bring it into what's really going on and what we are actually doing when we open our mouths and engage in so many conversations that kind of eke of negativity when we speak about what's going on in the political environment. How can we, as points of light, y'all know we let a Lord over here, and we're going to let our little light shine wherever we might stand. So how can we, as points of light, become more instrumental in making sure that people know that they are loved, safe, and accepted? What's really going on? I want to go ahead and toss the mic to you, our guest, Grace, for your thoughts on that.
It's and because we don't know family background, we don't know who lives with who, only because if I see an Asian person, I might say you should be okay, ain't nobody gonna bother you, you should be all right. And if I see a young Spanish child or student, I will not go up to them and say, make sure you stay off the streets, make sure you, because then that might cause an anxiety in them. Like, why can I not go on the street? Why are you telling me not to go on the street? So I guess I would just make sure that they feel loved by how I speak to them, how I look at them, and how I engage in a conversation with them. My face usually gives away what I'm thinking a lot of times. So I have to be mindful of what my face is looking like a lot of times. So I have to, engage in conversations that just make them feel part of this classroom or this part of being a young person, without bringing up what's happening in the world, unless they come to me with it, because maybe their parents are not talking about it, or maybe their parents are talking about it and they're scared of what might happen to their child. So I try not to bring up any conversation about what's happening politically unless they come to me with it. And then even when we have that conversation, I kind of have to tiptoe around it so that it doesn't affect them. Whatever I say to them does not affect them in a negative way, so that they would become scared or start thinking something might happen to me because I'm brown skinned.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Karen.
I love that, and I'm one of those who is sort of like, how can we focus on reminding our children, reminding our families, because some of this is number one, parenting in 2026. Y'all can have it. I am grateful. I'm so grateful every single day that I get to be a supporting character in the lives of grandchildren and children, because I don't think that I'm always equipped with the answer, but we we're equipped to be able to give love, right? I think a lot of times one of the things that I try to focus on specifically with my grandchildren is just to give them the confidence of being loved, right? We can't change all the things that's happening in the world. And my range for grandkids is literally, what is Peyton, 9 months to 18 years. And so even at that, the older ones don't always understand what's going on, but we understand kindness, right? We understand what it means to bring kindness to families, to bring to children, and reminding our children of what's appropriate, right? Because a lot of times when we hear those remarks, right, the first thing in our mind, often, because we know it has to come from somewhere, is what is the environment that those children are around, that they believe that is acceptable language, acceptable behavior. And a lot of times we teach our children, keep your hands to yourself, right? All of us have told our kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, cousins, and the people up the road, keep your hands to yourself. But we don't always teach them how to be kind with their words. And I think that that's something that's needed in this time, but we have to start with the adults, right? Because our children are a reflection of the environments that we create for them, right? Not getting deep, but when my grands come over here, it's all about love. It's about a lot of fun. They're gonna get some. Well, the first lesson: don't break none of my stuff. I'm not putting it up, but don't break my stuff. Why? Because there's some lessons in that they have to understand, right? How to respect what's mine, but also how to respect themselves in the spaces where we're not always able to come alongside them in. And so that's kind of my biggest thing, is how can we showcase love and don't shy away from the questions, right? Many of our kids may not ask questions, but they are surely being influenced by the TikToks, by the internets, by all of the reels and the scrolling that they're doing, it always makes me laugh, tilted, when parents are like, I don't know where they got that from. Well, unless you live in a compound where these kids are never leaving, you went to the grocery store, you went to the barbershop, you went to the gas station, you went somewhere, they went to school. You went somewhere where you were not in charge of the decisions that they are making, but you are impacted by what has influenced them. And so just y'all already knew what the answer was going to be. Love on these babies, because the world is difficult. And many of us as adults don't know how to navigate. And a lot of times we struggle, and then our kids see us struggle, but we don't often give them the gift of transparency to let them know why the struggle is happening. I ain't saying tell them everything, but give them enough information to not cause fear to be the driving point. So if they just know, hey, listen, I'm just having a challenging day at work, or we know this is happening, because different regions right now are dealing with different things. Equip yourself with the knowledge, but make sure your first weapon is love, and share it. That's it. I know that sounds corny, but it's just so needed. Tilted. You know me. I'm a big old mush.
Real.
But it's real.
No, it is very real. About a week or so ago, while I was sitting in here listening to my music, it just hit me. I was listening to Music Soul Child, and one of his songs is Love. And the one verse I actually posted, it was like, wow, was the Lord talking through you prophetically? Music, love. So many people use your name in vain. Do people really understand and what love and who love really is? It's absolutely appropriate that we landed here talking about love, because a lot of what we see as the adults that have the responsibility to pay attention to this stuff a little bit, at least, we see that a lot of these things are being done in the name of love. So many people equate the basis, the foundation of all of this, such and such that's going on in the world, with a certain facet of Christianity. And I know it's our shared experience here on this platform. I can speak for the three of us. We had an encounter with love. We know what love really is, which is why we always, hey, divert to love. That's the easiest play to play, because it encompasses and covers all. Love is patient, right? So we could be points of light as we travel hitherto and fro by being patient with the strangers that we encounter. Like you said, Grace, you read faces, and I read faces. I read energy, and I'm always ready to counteract what I feel coming from you. So if I see a sister, say for instance, because I work part-time in a grocery store, I see a sister and she looks so tired. She done worked all day and she had the self-checkout line and the thing is saying, please wait for assistance. I picked up her energy before I get to it. So when I go over there, hey, I really like your blouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I watched the face light up.
That's it. That's it.
This is not on this. I thought this was on sale. Well, do you have your discount card? No, I don't. If I can confirm it, let me go ahead and give you this discount. It's not, everybody needs to feel seen in a loving way. So we talked about love being patient, right? Love is kind. How do you remain kind when someone isn't being kind to you? What are some listen, we building live here on the audience with that particular question.
Yeah.
How do you remain kind to someone who's not necessarily being kind to you?
You just have to look past it. You have to look past what that particular instance is and put it in the basket of maybe that person is not having a good day. Because back in New York, if you're not being kind to me, you're going to know it in a second. In the New York minute, you're going to know what you just said to me or what you just did to me. You're going to get it back. So now that I'm in a different space of showing love and showing kindness based on the Holy Spirit that's been working with me, I would have to rearrange how I approach that, how I not accept it, but at the same time, allow it to be what it is. It probably is not a good day. It's probably not a good moment for that person. So it's just gonna let it pass and react, think before I speak, kind of thing where I talk to my kids all the time, think before you speak. And if there's a need to respond to it, then respond in a way that is kind or loving as much as possible.
Now, pardon me, GraceAnn, I see you shoulder shaking over there, Karen. It's like a whole lot trying to come up.
Because in my mind, it's like, God is not through blessing you. Listen, be nice to me at all times, okay? Just let that be the motto. I say it often, GraceAnn, the one thing, I'm a different person down here in North Carolina, right? I'm still not all the way there with the hospitality because, y'all all can't come over here and interrupt my peace. Like, I'm trying to hold on to it, but I do try to be nice to other people. So I laugh because, Tilted, I'm reminded of an instance where we had something that went on, and I happened to be on the phone with Joshua, my middle son, while I was in a car with Raymond, and somebody was not being nice, and it was a youngin. Now, I give more passes to people same age and older. I admit I discriminate against y'all youngins. Y'all better wrap up y'all bad day real quick because life ain't even start lifing for you. But it happened to be something that I think we were picking up food for Raymond, and we normally do go through the drive-through. And she was like, well, you have to come in. I got to do what? And it was the way that she said it. It wasn't that I didn't want to follow the rules, but she was not kind to me. And I went up in there, and I need y'all to know that whole car stayed in that drive-through. So I got it in me to act up, but yet people are praying for me. So I know that in those moments when I don't act all the way up, it's like, Oh, thank you, Lord, for praying, friends, because this could have went a whole nother way. Now, I went in there and I got the food, and they even had the order wrong. I said, "You may come in here and you got the order wrong." And then the manager was like, "Well, ma'am, you holding up the line, so if you can move your car, I'm moving my car when you get my order right. So if you want this drive-through to run up, listen." I say these things, so I'm over here like, I don't know. When I say to you all, what we need to do is be loving and kind, I'm talking to me first. Every single time I'm talking to me first. Because I try to be nice. Well, ma'am, we've done this many times. And maybe I upset her by calling her ma'am, but I was trying to give her, some respect, even though she wasn't really giving it. And then it was like, oh, okay. So now I got to come in here and be like, do y'all know that you got people with accessibility issues? And that was the case in this fact. My son could not go in and get his food. So I'm like trying to do everywhere else. I say, we'll never come back to this store again. Don't you worry. Now, he shouldn't have been eating at that fast food restaurant. No way. But that's a whole story. But now I got a reason. We ain't going over there. They got nasty attitudes, and now we don't have to go. So be kind to everybody. Like, if we just lead with that, not saying that you're going to hit the mark every single time, right? I tried to be nice. It didn't work out. Yeah.
So what I have realized for myself lately is when I know that particular person is just not nice, in order for me not to come out of myself and start acting crazy, I avoid that person. If I have to deal with the person, then I will deal with them and I'm gone. But if I know that you're the type that is not pleasant, I see you down the block. We waving down the block.
We waving.
So I'm
never going back. That part, I'm never going back to that spot. Yes, Val, it was a whole Medea moment, but I did not run a car into the drive-thru. But I sure, honey, okay. You hear me?
Yeah.
I promise this is really happening. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to be a nicer person down here. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Or whatever that stuff is. I don't get all of that stuff right. But the one time, and I promise you, it was a little girl, like a youngin', like, I don't know. And the manager was like, well, that's our policy. Listen here, sir. Change your policy from now henceforth forward. And I went in there, and I guess, sometimes people think like when there is a crowd around, I'm like, I'm a whole actress. First of all, you was getting the drama anyway. So now you get the audience, forget about it. So
anyway,
now that I think about it, it was a whole Medea moment. But I started off nice. Hallelujah. I promise. I tried, but we ain't going there no more. And then we went to another chain of that particular restaurant, and we went into the drive-thru, and the people were pleasant, and they were surprised because I just said, thank you for your kindness. And they were like, it's okay. Like, we ain't do nothing. This is what they pay us for. Trust me. It's a difference. So thank you so much for being kind in your service and all of those things.
Yeah, there is a difference. There is a difference.
I tried to be making y'all proud out here, but then the youngins, I'm like, dude, maybe if you see me, you'll treat me different, because maybe over the speaker I sound like a youngin. Maybe I sound different, but if you see me face to face, I'm not asking you to be scared, but show some respect to, I'm right. The newsflash, we're the elders now.
That's right.
We're the elders.
I agree.
Our elders would not expect any less, and so just be nice. Just I promise.
I don't know if I should be trusted to be an elder right now.
You're too young? Is that what you're saying?
I'm ready for the responsibility. No. I'm a little Medea-ish myself. It could be whatever.
Gotcha.
So I'm
feeling like Bam in these days sometimes. So somebody got to be Medea, but somebody got to be Bam as well. But we figure it out.
You can be Medea. You could be Medea and I could be Bam because I'm more chocolate like Bam. So
Okay. You got the
and
note too. You come through with some wisdom. I don't know. I think you ready.
I
I
don't
think
know, man.
you ready.
I'm trying to own it for real. I'm
It's a
trying to
different
own it for
generation.
real.
It's a different generation that we are eldering. Is that a word? We are eldering a different generation.
All right.
Our elders were what we needed. This is how I see it. World according to Karen. So you could disagree. I just know that
All right.
these nowadays kids can't take the eldering the way that we took the eldering, right? Like somebody
Okay.
could come to us and say, "Oh, you know what? Let's get this together. I believe better for you, or you need to. Your mother wouldn't appreciate that. Your peoples wouldn't appreciate that." And we get ourselves right together, right? Maybe we might suck our teeth and roll our eyes, but we get ourselves together. These folks, I'm just saying, it's a
So
different.
what you
While you're talking, Karen, I remembered on Monday. Today's Tuesday. Yesterday, no, Friday. I was in the lunchroom with the eighth graders, and one of the young ladies, they're supposed to be sitting most of the time when they're in the lunchroom. They're not supposed to be running around. So I was covering a particular section, and I asked the young lady to have a seat. And didn't she say to me, "Get out of my face"? Whoo! It took every single thing that I had to not be in her face. But I went in her face and I asked her, "Who do you think you're talking to?" Say it. Who are you talking to? I was in her face. And she's trying to, "Well, Mrs. Butler, you close to me." "Yeah, because you think you're talking to one of your friends. Don't speak to me like that. Don't you ever think that I'm one of your," and I just gave it to her as calmly as I could. And I just walked away. So yeah, there are times when I would like to be Medea, but I can't. I can't. I have to hold it. And I said what I have to say.
You can't.
Bail money, vacation money. Bail money, vacation money.
Exactly.
Bail money, vacation money.
Woo, exactly. Woo.
Well, thank you for confirming what I had already deduced with what Karen shared. This thuggery is necessary with this generation, is what you're saying.
Yes, for sure.
See the head cock? That's it. That's all you needed to do. It was like the thuggery is necessary. Because no, we don't always get it right. No, we don't always hit the mark. We do our best to strive to be a bright light, not necessarily a menacing light, because again, it could be whatever. But I'm always concerned with the state of what's going on in the minds of our young folk, because they finna inherit all of this here. And they gonna be in charge one day. Oh, and this is the scariest part. One day, some of these young folk might be our caregivers.
Boy.
So how we treat these young folk today, Erykah Badu said it. I'm planting seeds, so I reaps what I sow.
Yes.
So we got to do our best. Now, if they try us, they're gonna find out if fat meat is greasy. It could be whatever. But yeah, we're doing our best to make sure that we keep our young folks in the right presence of mind, with all of the changes that the world is going through. Karen, you brought up something earlier in the show that I wanted to tap into: the snow shovel hustle. With everything going on in the world, tonight's guest, Grace, you're here because you decided to go ahead and take a leap into purpose and start your business. But remember when we had our own little businesses on the block, the young men would walk around with shovels all day. It didn't matter how cold it was, with a shovel, knocking on doors to see if they can make $1 or $2 or 15 or 20. In the summer months, was I the only one who hustled candy? in the icy cups on the block. Let's talk about youth entrepreneurship, because that's what it was. We were some entrepreneurs before we knew what an LLC was.
Hustler.
What are some of those old school hustles that you might suggest to one of the youngins in your family? Snow shoveling is one.
We got the lemonade. We got the lemonade.
We got the lemonade.
Lemonade.
My kids
What
did
else
that.
would you do?
Okay, listen. Y'all know I have birthed 5 amazing characters, all right? And the chief among them is my youngest son, Lamont, the youngest and the tallest, and currently now the one with the most children. He used to sell rubber bands at school. Rubber bands. He will never. Wow. I was like, so we used to call him Ocean's 11 because if it was a hustle, he had it. I need you to know, Ocean's 11 was coming through. He would sell the candy, like, because the kids. So they grew up mostly in New Jersey. Pennsylvania was finishing school for them, so they bought that New Jersey hustle with them. They would buy the now laters and sell the now laters to the kids at the school, one now or later at a time. Okay, one, not the pack that you got. One at a time, you get one. You got a pack of Lifesavers, they would sell them one at a time. They would sell the rubber band. I'm telling you, my kids, I would have to staple stuff down because if it was sell above, they was not selling a pack. You wasn't getting no pack of Twinkies. You getting one Twink, okay? And somebody getting to eat. So I would just have to say, please, stop hustling these kids, because the kids, similar to that statement that you made earlier, GraceAnn, in reference to the kid getting $20 a week. Well, they was the ones who got $5 a month, but that's how they made do. Oh, you want these now later? The now later is 10 cents for now and 20 cents for later, because they believed in inflation too. So I would have to pat them down like these kids. They little tink. These are true stories, okay? I'm not making none of this stuff up. So rubber bands was always my thing, because couldn't you get them for free? Why you paying somebody for a rubber band? And my son would tell me, don't knock my hustle. Oh.
Okay.
And I know that did nothing for you, Tilted, but make you more impressed with them cheering you call family. That's all I'm saying.
And did. How much? I'm curious. How much was he selling these rubber bands for, Karen?
Rubber bands was anywhere between 15 and 25 cents per rubber band, and he had a ball like this big of rubber bands that he would just get from like the mailman or whatever. I don't even know where. I didn't buy one rubber band. Okay, so he took something that he got for free and made money with it. I was like,
hustle.
If they gonna buy a rubber band, I'm gonna shut up, because what we doing? See, Auntie is there.
Hustling.
They couldn't wait to go visit Nanny and Poppy, because Nanny and Poppy was in Jersey, and the candy they would buy now laters was 25 cents. They would make like $1.50 off of the now later pack. Them kids, that's all. I always thought it was just because they loved the family and they wanted to go see the family. They was restocking. Like, we got to restock. Use your powers for good. That's all I tell them. Use your powers for good.
We try and teach these young folk to go ahead and just use your powers for good. Oh my goodness. But they use it for good enough to make them more money than what they had. They had a hustle. A hustle from the beginning of time. Come on now.
From the beginning.
Right. Now look at them.
Now
all of them still got a hustle.
They do.
Now that they're grown.
I just have to remind them, because now their children It's the next generation of hustle. So don't get all, extra sanctified and holy like you wasn't out here hustling. This is the next generation. And as me, I'm going to let them know you could do that, but you should also talk to mom and dad about how to diversify your portfolio. That's what we're going to call it now. Diversify your portfolio.
Portfolio, Ganny. I can hear him now.
Yes. Do something with that money.
Right.
Honey, when the best lesson response so far was when Melinda was probably 7, and I told her about the work of being a landlord. I said, people will pay you to live in your house. She was like, what? We'll talk, girl. Don't worry about it. Mimi got you. Somebody else gonna teach them something else, but I'm gonna teach them that game right there. They will pay you to live in your house, okay? And then you take that money and pay your own rent. Okay, there we go. Somewhere else. Or your own mortgage. God is great. God is great.
The generational hustle. It's in their blood. It's in all of our blood. And it's been a little bit of a lighthearted conversation. Thank you so much for sharing some of your personal stories of truth and triumph, Karen. But, that lends to what everybody should be looking into in today's day and time. You got something on the inside of you that hasn't yet been revealed that could actually put a couple dollars in your pocket. I think, and I've often been told that I have a nice tonation to my voice. So that opened the door to go ahead and start a podcast as a hustle, so to speak. I can also hustle my voice to do some voiceovers, read some audio books, get paid. I know how to sing, so I could use my voice to get singing every now and again. I do make a little coin singing a song for somebody. But now is the season of innovation. So maybe, just maybe, someone in the listening audience might have a dream or a past vision that they put on the shelf. I would invite you to go ahead and pick that thing up, because if you took nothing from our conversation about hustles that we would reintroduce tonight, you see the joy that came from just remembering how it started and how it is now going. Now I got to tell on the child that Karen was talking about with the rubber band hustle. Was that my baby Josh?
It was not. It was not Joshua. That was Lamont.
That was Lamont. Well, there it is. Mr. Big Baller Shot Caller right now. I promise you, he's having children to diversify his portfolio. I don't think for a moment that he has not already done sat down and started showing them what a spreadsheet looks like. Because I watched him, not for nothing, compete with your hustle to get where he is today, Karen. So hat tip to you for being an amazing example of being exactly who you are as a parent, because, hey, that's some good oil. It fell on some good ground, and the evidence is in your children. I'm such a fan. So listen. I'm looking. We've been talking. We've been kikiing. But I need my nourishment because, I posted a couple about a week or so ago. Some of God's children was doing the absolute most, and I needed all the grace in the world not to on them. So I need you all to get ready. Lend me your ear, friends, and Unhinged Live family. Get ready to receive this week's dose. It's been a long time. I'm parched, Lord, in my soul. Get ready to receive this week's Reflection of Purpose, brought to you by our very own in-house master life coach. She's certified in so many different things, y'all. Coach Cash of Twisted Threads LLC. Coach Cash, take it away, sis.
Listen, normally I have a lot of different things that it's like, which one? But this is a message that has been kind of circling around that I want to remind us today. So y'all know I always come with a title, right? Coach Cash coming at you. Today's title, review the tapes. review the tapes. We just did it for you just moments ago, right? Remember those moments that seemed like they were going to be too difficult and you didn't know how you're going to make it on the other side. Maybe you can looking at something and that bank account is looking mighty slim right now, right? Roll the tapes, review that good bean footage, and remember the strategies that brought you from there to here. Now, listen, it's going to probably take a little bit of a remix for this new thing that God has placed on your heart. Or maybe it's the same thing and you tried it a different way. You tried it your way and then God said, no, that wasn't really what I wanted you to do. And now you've got some tweaks that come in there. As we review the tapes and see all of the things, even a lot of things that we see in society right now, we hear biblically, there's nothing new under the sun. Why can we say that with full belief? Because we done seen some things, right? One thing is for certain, God is still out here guiding, right? And number two is his record is still good. I want to remind you that as you review those tapes, you are reviewing from a place of experience. So maybe you started a business years ago. Honey, the current president done started 15 business and failed at 15 of them. And here we still are. I don't even understand why you sitting somewhere diminishing your gift. Ma'am, sir, I want to remind you that thing that you just find some love and some joy in, sit with it for a little while, right? See what God elevates it into and then send it out into earth, right? We were talking about how this all began. Well, in 2017, I think that was the year, I started videos called The Adoption. And it was the adoption of me getting a new daughter-in-law when I just felt like, I was like, Lord, I barely survived these children. What you sending more for? And then more came and then more came. And that family of 5 is now kind of breaching on. We almost a family of 20 now. I don't know where these people are coming from. I also don't know where they're going to sleep if they try to come to my house. That's another story. We're in 2026. Life is different for us and we're seeing different things around the world. But I remind you, review the tapes and you will find love there. Review the tapes and you will find laughter there. Review the tapes. You will find the medicine that you've been praying and longing for in your life. I didn't come on here to preach, but listen, if the words hit you, let them get all the way down like salve into your spirit and your soul. What the world needs now, we will always say, right, is love. We need love. But there's also a benefit, right, for us knowing that there are people who need us and there are people that we need. Don't let anybody steal that gift that you have that allows you to be reminded and fortified and confident in the fact that your life matters to you. First, it should, but if it don't matter to you, know one thing for sure. Here at Unhinged, we love y'all. We're excited about being connected to y'all. We want to share your stories with our platform. We want to share what is in your rewinded tapes. When you rewind those tapes and think about what messages God has given to you, what things he's fortified you in, and now you're ready to release it. Listen, DMing us, don't come in our DMs with nothing crazy. Okay, don't do that. But get connected with us so that we can, similar to what we've done tonight in our season opener, to share more what it is that we have. Listen, as always, Reflections of Purpose, we coming with you. I think I'm done tilted. You know, I'm waiting like, Lord, was that it? That was it for me. So make sure y'all multiply. That was the morsel tonight. Don't get too full.
That was clockable.
Yeah.
That was all the way clockable. I needed that. And listen, I'm looking at the clock and we're doing pretty well on time. And I got to go ahead and lean into the outro. But before I do that, GraceAnn, thank you so much for hanging out with us on tonight. I really appreciate you. You are an absolute joy, not only in person, but even on, girl, you're doing it on screen. You never know where tonight's experience might take you. Now, before I get into our outro, do you have any last words of encouragement to share with our listening audience?
It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how long it's been sitting on the shelf, Coach Karen said. It doesn't matter how long. Go get it and go and put it back, dust it off, go get it, put it back. Because that was my conversation with myself. I'm too old for this. I ain't got time for all this. So it doesn't matter. Age is not nothing but a number. The Holy Spirit gave that to you for a reason. Our pastor said he gives it to you, and he gives you what you need to do it. He gave you that inspiration, and he gives you what you need to do it. So just hold on, get that Holy Spirit into whatever the plan is, pray about it, and do it. Just do it.
That's it. That's it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So tonight, I got to encourage you all to just be. In tonight's Just Be moment, I'm going to invite you all to just be prepared to pivot if necessary. You've heard the excitement-filled stories from both of these beautiful queens here on tonight about different pieces of their journey that brought them to business spaces where they stand today. And I can only imagine it was because they were looking to satisfy something, that yearning, that longing, and that knowing that is within them. I would invite you to be prepared to pivot in your purpose. Just like Grace has been walking in her purpose for so long, a season of preparation, so to speak, where she can now be the nanny of nannies at your wedding soiree, to make sure that you are not tense or anxious in any way.
Yeah.
Some of you might need to pivot professionally even in this season. We've heard the stories, we've heard the reports, we've heard the numbers of the thousands and thousands of people who lost employment as part of this whole government shakeup thing that's been going on. But here's the deal. Everything you need to be successful is already inside of you. So if you can do nothing but edit one heck of a TikTok video, be prepared to pivot. There are different learning modules to help you monetize and earn real guap, real coin through some of these social media platforms. If it's in you, you can do it. We've seen many examples in the Word of God. Those of us who study the scriptures, we've seen God take little and make much. And the one thing that comes to mind in this particular Just Be moment is David. Out on the battlefield, when they were looking for a champion to slay the giant, here come David. After Goliath has had it out with all of the most powerful men on that side of the kingdom. But here come little David. The kingdom on that side decided to pivot because they received a word from God concerning young David. So young David went out there on that field, and in the middle of the pivot, he took Goliath out. So your Goliath today could be a financial concern. Be prepared to pivot. Your concern, your Goliath today might just be an ailment or an issue of the heart. Be prepared to pivot and remind yourself of everything that you know to be love, and be that thing towards yourself. And while you're being that thing, be honest in the presence of God, because he is the one who is the master potter, who can take a moldy lump of clay and make it beautiful yet again. Be prepared to pivot. It's your girl, Tilted Halo, sitting alongside our good girlfriend, Karen Sims Harrell of Twisted Threads LLC, sitting in with our lovely guest tonight, Sister GraceAnn Butler. Thank you so much, sis, for staying here with us. And thank you to each and every one of you in our audience. We look forward to this season, baby, because guess what? We've been to pivot. Right in front of your face. So hang on for the ride. It's a joy tsunami. We are unhinged. And Karen, I think that's a wrap. Until next week, y'all.
Love it.
We out.
I love it. I love it.